Hello lovelies, it's Katie and I'm going to show you how to make some honeycomb wall shelves so we can make our walls just a little more stylish. I am so excited to get into this project with you. This is something that I partnered with my husband on, and since we've made it, there have been so many people that have been asking how we've done it and if we could make them one as well. So I wanted to share with you guys because I know there's a lot of DIYers out there that want to make this project for themselves. I've also gone ahead and made up some free DIY project plans to go along with this video. You can find the link in the description below so you can go ahead and make your own amazing honeycomb shelves. We went ahead and started off with these laminated pine project panels. If you don't have a table saw at home, you can actually ask them at Home Depot or wherever you purchase it to go ahead and cut it for you. Another alternative is you can use a circular saw, and I will link to a video down below in the description to show you how you can set that up. Using the table saw, you want to start by cutting that pine panel into 5-inch wide strips. So our panels are ready. We want to set up our miter saw to create a 30-degree cut. So this is going to leave us with a 60-degree angle on the edge of each 10-inch piece that we cut, and those angles are going to fit together to make our hexagon. And of course, this goes without saying, but be sure to continue measuring throughout the whole process. If you are like me and like to have a little bit of wiggle room, I would definitely suggest sizing up the piece of wood that you purchase to the next length, just so you have that little bit of extra space for error. You're just going to keep on cutting those 10-inch pieces with that 30-degree cut until you have a total of 36 pieces. 36 is the number that I needed because I ended up making 6 hexagons, but you could go less or more depending on how many hexagons you want to be in your honeycomb shelf. Now we want to grab some sandpaper and just really lightly sand off what will be the exposed edge of the shelf. So this is just if you're putting something on the shelf that you're not getting slivers or splinters in your finger. But don't go crazy, you don't need to sand the top or bottom, just those little edges. Now we're ready for stain. So you're going to go ahead and stain the front, back, sides, everywhere on each of those 36 pieces of wood. Or if you prefer more of a rustic look, you can totally skip the stain altogether. Now that we're assembling the pieces together, there are a couple things that we found that made this a little bit easier. And this is totally optional, but first of all, we ended up nailing down some pieces of wood to kind of hold the hexagons together just while we were picking them up and putting them back down. We also went ahead and used some wood glue on the edge of the adjoining pieces just to give a little bit of extra hold. If you're looking for a lot of extra strength for your shelf though, go ahead and use a PL construction adhesive because this is really going to hold it together. Now we want to clamp these pieces together. So you can see what ended up working here was laying a little bit of extra wood on the top before the clamp went on, and this just gave it a little bit of something extra to grab onto and made it easier to put the nails in. Here's a quick tip for you. If you dull the pointed end of the nails with your hammer, the wood is much less likely to split when you nail them in. Once that's clamped nice and firm, you're going to go ahead and put 3 2-inch spiral finishing nails in each joint. Or if you want to do more, go ahead and do more. You can also use a nail set to tap those nails in so that they're a little bit tighter and they're less likely to be visible after the fact. Now you're just going to repeat until you have all of your hexagons assembled. So here we went ahead and used a, I don't quite know what this is called, but it's like a wax to fix scratches in furniture. So you could actually use a wood filler, but what I find is they're usually kind of a white or yellowy color. They'll actually be a lot more visible afterwards, and I find this furniture wax a lot more discreet. They come in all different colors, so you pick a shade that matches your stain the best. If you did decide to use wood filler, I would go ahead and do that before you did the staining because it might help it to blend in just a little bit better. Now it's time to protect your work. So here I'm using a clear coat sealer. Mine says shellac. I'm not sure if that's the brand, but I know Varathane is a really popular brand of sealers. This is just going to get painted all over each of those hexagons to seal everything up nicely. Now you get to pick how you want your hexagons to be laid out. So arrange them in different ways, see what works for you, see what works for the space that you're going to be hanging it, and once you have that where you want it, now we're going to start to attach those hexagons together. So again, here we use some wood glue on any pieces that we're going to be adjoining. Now that those are stuck together, we went ahead and used a drill bit on those adjoining pieces where we're going to be placing our screws. Then we went ahead and used our 8 by 1 1/4 inch screws, placed 4 screws and drilled those into one side of each adjoining piece, and that's going to secure each of those pieces together. It's done! How exciting! So it's all put together now. Now it's time to hang it up. This can be very different depending on what kind of wall you're mounting it to, whether it's concrete or you're going into metal studs, wood studs. In this example, we were going into wood studs. If you're securing to a different type of wall, I'll leave a link to a video in the description below so you can see a little bit better how you should be securing the shelf in your situation. This is not the only way to hang this shelf. This is just what worked for us. So you might find another method to hang these up that works a lot better for you. So our approach was this. We have our metal furniture brackets. We first figured out where they were sitting on the shelf and measured the distance between them. Once we had the distance between the brackets, we marked that off on the wall and actually first installed the brackets onto the wall before we put them onto the shelf. Once the brackets were onto the wall, then the shelf actually had something to sit on while we screwed the brackets into the shelf. So here you can see where the brackets are sitting, and then the shelf we actually just went ahead and lifted onto those brackets. Once it's been lifted onto the brackets, just make sure you have somebody there to hold the shelf. It should stay there pretty well on its own, but it could still topple off because there haven't been any screws put in to secure it yet. So have one person hold that shelf while the other person goes ahead and drills the screws through the brackets and into the shelf to secure it. We used 10 by 2 inch screws to secure the brackets into the wall and 8 by 1 1/4 inch screws to secure the bracket into the shelf. Yay, it's all done! So now that your shelf is up, it is time for what I think is the fun part, throwing up some plants, some books, some candles, whatever you want to put up there. So style it to your heart's content and enjoy your beautiful shelf. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up so I know to bring you more videos like this in the future. Don't forget to grab your free project plans from the description below, and I will see you next time.